This podcast may contain views and opinions which are those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any local agency, organization, union, employee, or company, including the podcast.
All right, George.
What's up?
Welcome back, everybody,
Welcome back.
to Off the Clock Shop Talk.
Here we go.
So, we're back.
We are back.
Who do we have to join us here today, George?
Today we have a returning guest, Bobby Wainwright. What is up, Bobby?
Bobby.
What's up, guys?
Good-looking Bobby's what they call it. That's what they call it. How you doing, Bobby?
Doing great.
Yeah,
Doing
you
great.
hanging in there?
Been actually been working a lot lately.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, we
As
introduced
usual.
you. We kind of told everybody, you know, roundabout what you do. You're our new comms director here for 952.
Sir.
But I'm curious. So why don't you run us through what you've been doing? What's going on in Bobby's world?
Yeah. So,
Nice.
Bobby Wayne's world.
Yeah.
The past couple weeks, it's been awesome. It's been exhausting, but at the same time, it's been awesome. Our local, Teamsters Local 952, we have about 40 yards that we take care of, as you guys know.
Yeah.
From Coca-Cola, UPS, Albertsons, CVS.
A lot of them out there might not
Yeah.
know, but yeah, 40
40 yards is a lot, you know.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
from
lot.
what I've learned is we actually have a lot more business agents than most locals, it seems like. So all of our business agents are doing a lot of different things, you know, and my job is to, again, be the fly on the wall. Most of the shifts or most of the yards that we have multiple shifts. They have morning, evening, twilight, overnight, part-time, this and that.
Yeah.
And our goal as a local is to visit every single one of them, right? So this past week specifically has been pretty much 3 a.m. mornings.
Oh, wow.
3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. I go out with Eric. I go out with Sam. I go out with Sabas. I go out with you. Anybody
All the
that's
yards,
doing,
basically.
yeah, all the yards. One cool one that sticks out in my mind is OC Animal Care. Well, originally Teamsters, we were the people that gathered horses and managed that and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where the horses come from.
Yeah.
So we actually still have like Teamsters in general, we have a very big presence in the zookeeping world, in animals, in
Really?
yeah. Actually, San Francisco
I actually
Francisco
didn't know
Zoo,
that.
those guys are Teamsters. You know,
Really?
I think I'm pretty sure all the zoos on the West Coast, but might want to fact check that, George.
Oh.
But
The San Diego Zoo is Union, Teamsters Local 481. The San Francisco Zoo is also Union, Teamsters Local 856. The Los Angeles Zoo is non-union and is represented by GLASA. The Greater Los Angeles Zoo Association is a non-profit whose sole objective is to search and provide financial support for the animals' welfare.
I wonder
I'll
what
look it up.
Yeah,
their
zookeepers.
contract is like.
Yeah.
Like if you get your arm bit off by a lion, got to be some compensation there. You're a Teamster.
You're a Teamster, and you lost an arm. Free snacks for you at the snack bar. I don't know. I'll look.
I mean, it's
I'll look
it's
into that. I'll look into that.
fascinating, dude. Like, and I'll say it's such a different world when you go from like CVS to Albertsons to UPS, and then you go to the Orange County Animal Care. It's like the people there are just
What do they do there? I don't even know.
the handlers. They handle the animals. People that clean up and sanitation, all that kinds of stuff. There are Teamsters, you know.
Yeah, it's a labor job.
Um,
Makes sense.
It's heartbreaking going to that kind of like it's so different going from like in one day I'll go from a yard at UPS where you guys are just like, you know, you guys swear like drunken sailors and
Yeah, for sure.
this and that, and it's just a whole nother world.
The fuck do you
Then
mean
you go
about
to-
Bobby? What do you mean?
What are you talking about, Bobby?
What the fuck are you talking about, Bobby?
And then you go to like Orange County Animal Care and they're just like, hey, how are you? Would you like to adopt a puppy or a kitten? You know, and it's like
Yeah, it's totally
it's
different.
a whole nother world, you know. So starting to really understand what specifically our local, who we represent, 952 represents, It's rewarding. It's exhausting. But at the same time, again, like what I was saying before, it makes me want to work harder. Like, I'm like, dude, I don't want to just post photos of like, oh, look at where we're visiting. Like, I actually want to educate people somehow more on what we're doing. You know, I think that every UPSer should know what 952 represents, you know, and where we're representing and what we're doing in these yards. Like, so it's opening up a new creative world mentally. Starting to work on some educational videos. Remember I showed you the
Yes. Yeah.
There's a style of video that's just like, hey, it's called a talking head, where it's just talking to the camera and it's like educative. You know, actually, I haven't showed you the video. I'll show it to you. But it's pretty cool.
I'm more of, I know about talking head videos and that style. Yeah.
What we want to do is get all the business agents. I want to come up with like, what are wine garden rights? And I want to make a 1-minute video on just the person talking to the camera.
Just very direct, very short and to the point.
And I will say that they're, and we try not to, and I'm not talking shit, but at the end of the day, there's some uninformed idiots online sometimes, that want to say weird things. We've heard some stuff being said in regard to, why is 952 hiring a comms director? And most big locals have a comms director.
A common position.
They literally have a comms director for Joint Council 42. They have 396 has a comms director, 63. Right? I mean, all these bigger locals have a comms director, and I just kind of want to know what that embodies. I mean, for me, I really do believe it's for education, and education is huge in a union.
I mean,
if you don't know what your union is doing, if you don't know what's going on, you honestly are susceptible to
being taken advantage of.
Listening to idiots online. There's lots of them out there. We have, a handful here in 952 that like to just spew a bunch of nonsense online.
But not us.
But at the end of the day, the job is really important. And the reason, we've talked about it multiple times on the show, the reason myself and George really had the idea, and the reason I jumped on board and we kind of started was because we want that, right? We were in essence trying to do what your job is. We're trying to inform the membership. We're trying to build excitement. We're trying to get all these things, involvement, right?
Yeah.
And that's your job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kudos to you, and
I appreciate it.
I'm happy to have you here, Bobby.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to growing in this career. The goal is to educate our members. We are a 121-year-old company, the Teamsters organization. We're a 121-year-old organization.
That's no small feat.
Yeah, and so back then they didn't have photography, videography, audio. Nowadays, that's what's the goal as a Teamster is to get more members so that we could be stronger.
Yeah,
we need to be able to weigh the mountain down. You know what I mean? With all the rain, in a sense. You know what I mean? Like the members are the rain, the mountain is the company. You know what I mean? And it's like the more informed we are, as members, as companies, even for example, like I really like James Lopez. Shout out to James Lopez.
Yeah, shout out to James.
I love what he does with his companies. He's got an incredible relationship with all the managers, everything like that. From my understanding, it was not that way at all before then. And I don't understand why you wouldn't want that relationship. I think that it's important for management to understand where the union's coming from and the union to understand where the management's coming from. Yes, our jobs are to protect our members.
I've always thought that, like in debate, if you want to win a debate, and I kind of correlate that with like grievance meetings and, all these things that we do we're basically taking up an argument for whatever reason, whether it be, interpretive language within the contract or whether it be somebody's job. We're taking up an argument, right? So like in debate, you can't really debate somebody without knowing their view and their side.
Yeah.
You can't properly win a debate without knowing that. You can take up your own argument, and if you don't kind of understand where the company is coming from and their view on things, it's going to be a lot harder.
Yeah.
So, what you're saying, I think is spot on.
You know what? I've always been curious on a debate stance. I've never taken a debate class or anything like that, but I've always been very curious on like, why do debates always start out with like, okay, well, this person's wrong because of this, and the other person says this person's wrong because of that. I would like to see a debate where it's like, hey, okay, to start this debate, here's the subjects that we both agree on. We both agree this, we both agree this, and this is where we differentiate.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see a debate like that. Like,
That would
healthy.
be an interesting perspective to see a debate, because the whole point of winning a debate is to get both parties or get one party to agree to another, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to start with an agreement and then just
because you both are going to agree
Yeah.
with the same goal, the same,
Yeah.
to take care of it, whether you're the U.S. president or you're the Teamsters. We all have a goal of like, people need to be taken care of. Fair day's work for a fair day's pay.
Yep.
I actually think that I know you guys say it, you're like, if the members could work for free, then the company would allow it.
Yeah.
I almost, for a healthy debate, I almost disagree with that. I don't know if I'm just kind of naive, but I almost feel like, no, like CVS, they do want their employees to feel valued. But then it's real easy to just be like, well, I don't know.
think
Correct me
this, I think this kind of goes to something we were talking about off camera. I think in small business, most small businesses want to take care of their employees. It's almost like a family environment. What happens is when you get investors involved and you get this type of deal where you're beholden to somebody else outside of working in the company. Now, when you look at investors, all they're looking for is returns, right?
Truly.
That's it. They just want returns. They don't give a shit what you do with the employees. So when you kind of take that route, you go public, right? And you have your, your IOP, right? And you start all that stuff. Then at that point, now you have somebody else to answer to. And I'm speaking from the management side,
because
from
you're
the company
working
side.
off their money, so they want to see
Yeah,
a
they want to
rising-
see investment,
They wanna
or
see
they
s-
want to see returns. Excuse
Yes.
me. So at the end of the day, I think companies, a lot of them start off with wanting to take care of their
Oh,
employees.
I agree with that,
UPS is a great example. I mean, there are lots of old UPSers that remember when the company wanted to take care of them, and they offered them a lot of stock options, gave away stock and whatnot, so that the motto back then was, if the employees own part of the company, they want the company to succeed. Right?
work just as hard as management or whatever.
Harder.
Harder than management.
They really want the company to succeed so they can see those returns and whatnot. But when you have somebody on the outside to answer to, somebody that's doesn't know your culture, doesn't know, they're just looking at dollars and cents, then it kind of gets into the area where you're like, okay, we can let some of the maybe nice things we did for the employees, whether that be bonuses, whether that be just taking care of them and, not trying to fire everybody and cracking the whip all the time. You kind of take that aspect out of it. So that's my take on it.
Not to change the subject, but what would be kind of a cool idea for a story time segment would be, what's the story with UPS? Because they have a very unique start with the Teamsters Union, right? Have you guys ever talked about that?
Not really.
Slightly,
I think
maybe.
we talked about a little bit. We haven't gone in depth, so that would be an interesting segment to just go over
Definitely be
the
interesting.
origins.
I don't know if you guys want to do it today
United
or
Parcel
like do
Service.
more
No.
research or something.
We'd
But
have to
I think we
do
need to do a little more
lot more
research,
research.
and that would be
I'd want to give dates. And
that'd be
Yeah.
that'd be a
Can have some-
whole an episode just in itself.
because I told that story to somebody else that worked at CVS at the EWS meeting, and they're like, "That's the coolest story I've ever heard." And I'm like, Anyway, so to be continued on that end. Like, you guys just wait for the story of UPS and the Teamsters, But yeah, so it's been interesting this past couple weeks. Me personally, I went to Modesto to do EWS training. Eric Jimenez.
What's going on, bro?
I got you on speakerphone. We're recording right now. You're out on off the clock. And we just wanted to ask you a question. What does EWS stand for?
Are you guys actually recording right now?
Yeah, we're filming.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm at Costco.
Oh,
I'm unloading. I'm talking to people.
hopefully it's a unionized
I think
Costco.
it's electronic work standard.
EWS stands for Engineered Work
Engineered work standards.
Standards.
That's what it is.
Engineered Work Standards, or you may hear some people call it ELS, which is Engineered Labor Standards. But both of them, the one that you'll usually hear is EWS.
Awesome.
Engineered Work Standards, and it's the count of time units on how a order or how a job is timed.
Wonderful. Awesome. That's the only question I had. Would you like to say anything?
No. I don't know. What are we talking about?
Oh, we're just talking about like what we were up to this week as far as 952.
Oh yeah. I mean, long story short, we were up
You guys
this past
turn it
week
up.
in Modesto was to train our stewards and members on how to read EWS reports and how to hold the company accountable. Because when it comes to EWS, Engineered Work Standards, or ELS, Engineered Labor Standards, like I said, our members are timed by time units on how quick they are supposed to do a job. So, for instance, if they are building a grocery, each movement is calculated and given a certain amount of TMU, which is called a time unit. So if I'm going to pull a case of soda from the bottom rack and it's to my right side, each movement I make, which is I'm going to stop my pallet jack, I'm going to go ahead and secure it, I'm going to go ahead and pivot to the right, I'm going to pull a case of soda off the bottom rack and then put it on my pallet. Each one of those movements is timed. And the best way to look at it is like a movie frame, like the old school movie reels where, in the back,
24 frames a second.
Yeah, in the back you would see the camera with the old school movie film. That's what you kind of want to picture it as. So each time TMU, or time measurement unit, is a single picture.
A frame.
And yes, it's a frame, and each movement is given so many TMUs. And what the companies like to do is they like to dilute the explanation of time measurement units, or they try to keep our members from learning how those numbers work or how they're timed. Because if they can keep our members in the dark about that, our members will constantly be chasing the carrot and constantly be asking what it takes to reach. So, for instance, if a pallet takes 33 minutes and they know they ran their butts off and they did it, and it still took them 37 minutes, which are now 4 minutes behind, they were trained. They went to a training to be able to walk to the company and say, hey, I need you to print out a report. I need you to be able to show me why I went over by 4 minutes. And if our members are trained and understand how to calculate the time that they are given to pull that pallet, they can actually come back and say, okay, hey, throughout the time, for instance, while I was pulling that, when I went to go pull that case of soda and every single movement was timed for me to pull that case of soda, I just want to let you know the soda wasn't replenished, which is somebody else's job. I actually had to wait for somebody to come pull the rack down. All that time is not calculated into your time given. Say, for instance, there's plastic wrap around it. And hey, even though it's only 15 seconds that it took me to pull my knife out, our box cutter rip that cellophane off and be able to pull. That was an extra 15 seconds. And if you do that 10, 20, 30 times a day, it adds up. So, and if we can hold the company accountable in terms of, hey, I'm not timed for this. I'm not timed to wait for you guys to pull down a pallet from the second rack and put it down there. That's supposed to be already be done. The cellophane is already supposed to be cut when I'm supposed to get to these areas to pull my product. If it's, hey, guess what? There's pallets, in the middle. There's trash in the middle. Or even, hey, because you guys are so busy, there is 3 or 4 people going up the same aisle, pulling different products. It's called extra congestion. That is all timed. So again, like I said, I know we went into a long explanation of how this works for our members, but ultimately, like I said, they went up there to train and to be able to hold the company accountable, because 90% of the time it's the company that is not adhering to their own plan on how these engineered work standards work. But at the end of the day, they always turn around and blame it on the member and say, well, it was the member, he was going too slow, he wasn't moving quick enough. 90% of the time, it's usually their fault because they're not following their own plan. And if we can hold the company accountable to their work standards, engineered work standards, then we have a huge shot at constantly proving the company wrong, which in turn will help our members from getting fired, help our members from being suspended, and to be honest with you, actually sometimes help our members actually get the incentive that they deserve, rather than it showing that they're constantly getting beat. So that's kind of a general explanation of how it works.
Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate your time and explaining that, because we were trying to figure out what EWS meant, and I felt like an idiot.
Engineered work standards.
Awesome.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric.
All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Bye.
So, engineered work standards.
Engineered work standards. Yeah. So we the IBT had 3 trainers go down to, I forget which local, went to a local in Modesto. So the IBT had three trainers go to a local in Modesto, and everybody on the West Coast that's a part of the Joint Council 42 was able to join in, bring some members to help educate them on how the company manages and looks at their time and how to work, So it's a 2-day event, learning just like what he's saying. Like, you're going to go at a different speed if you're picking vertically compared to picking horizontally. Compared to, are you stepping horizontally? Yeah. Are you stepping straight? Are you stepping back? Yeah. So those, they count every single thing, and it really helps our members that were there. They're going to understand where the management's coming from, how they're being tracked. They're also going to be able to educate their fellow members on how it's working and how they see it. So that was a really, really fun. I know it almost sounds kind of like just super geeky, but it was mind blowing. Seeing the depth of every second counts, like if something's wrapped in cellophane, the person having to cut that and remove it, that's going to take time, and that. And that's arming.
That's just one of the benefits of having a comms director. You go over there and you film some of it, and we can put a lot of this information out to our members. And that's the whole point, is to educate, to get these guys to know what's going on and what we do, on a daily basis to better people's lives. That's really what we're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as well as this week, we had 2 barbecues for UPSers. That was awesome. How many UPSers do we have total in our local?
Right under 2,000.
Right under 2,000.
Yeah.
So, we got there at 7 a.m, started barbecuing some burgers.
Started knocking it out.
It was awesome.
And I mean, that's something I will say that, the 20 years I spent in the hub, you just didn't see that stuff. Whatever you want to call it, it was what it was, but Eric's done a great job in letting the members know not only that, we want to do those things about educating and informing, but also wants to take care of the members. He wants to keep the members happy. He wants to do these extra things. He's just done a great job of it. It really is insane to look at where we were prior to where we are now under Eric.
Yeah, it's
it
not.
Really is.
It's really not the same, man. Like, I remember working inside the building, and I don't remember. I'm sorry to say it, but I don't remember the former. The former administration being out there making burgers and stuff for us.
Well, that didn't happen.
You know
Yeah,
what
it
I'd
never
like to
happened.
add on that is, again, I'm the fly on the wall. I see you guys, business agents, Eric, John Green, you guys are traveling all over.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have to go out of state all the time to handle union and protect our members.
Yeah, grievance.
Those are
grievance
things that our
hearings.
members literally don't see, right?
Yeah.
Half the time I can't even have a camera in there because of the conversations that are going on. But when the whole administration is here, what happens is we try to visit our yards as frequently as possible. One thing I would like to see more is the members talking and approaching Eric, you always have your business agent, you always have your stewards, but when we do have upper management that does get a chance to walk the yard, talk to them, because that's what they're there for. They want to, if anybody has an issue with anything, that's the moment to be like, hey, I got a question about this. Why is this and that? And blah, blah, For example, we had a meeting for CVS. One guy had a question about why they got Martin Luther King Day off, but what ended up happening was CVS went, okay, we're going to shift the schedule so that Martin Luther King Day is on a Monday, so you guys are going to work Tuesday through Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's an unpaid day off,
Yeah.
Those are little things in our contract that, we got, and then the company learned how to finagle manipulate a different way. At the end, James was like, hey, thank you for bringing that up, because now we're going to be aware as the union representatives, because again, you guys are the union, we are the reps. We're the ones that need to hear from you and need to understand what you guys want voiced, So that was just a cool thing. So, we had EWS training. I've been visiting yards with the administration, with the business agents, seeing some management or membership meetings to help educate people what goes into contracts, what goes into negotiations. Because it's not one of the things where you guys just come in and like, okay, what do our employees want? We want this much. And the company goes, you want this much? Okay. It's a whole ordeal, dude. Like,
And you've been doing all that plus building our new Instagram page. If you guys haven't seen that, the new Instagram page for Local 952, we'll put the QR code down here. Make sure you guys follow and like and all that stuff. New Instagram, new Facebook, right?
Side note, with the Instagram, we're doing a raffle right now where if you follow the page, Teamsters 952 Instagram, if you follow the page and send us a direct message with your name and what yard you're out of, have to be a 952 member, obviously, you're going to be entered into a raffle for the next general membership meeting. We're going to be raffling off a few jackets.
Nice. So if you guys are there, jump on Instagram, check out that. Giving away a jacket for 952 members in this case. 3 jackets?
A few.
Okay.
Yeah.
Few jackets.
Okay.
Follow the Instagram page. Direct message the Instagram page with your name, your full name, not your Instagram name, your full name and your the yard that you come out of, and you have a chance to win a jacket. Pretty cool.
It's cool.
It's a little sales plug there,
Pretty cool.
A little sales plug.
So it's been amazing. This week has been awesome for me. Educative, learning more and more every week. That's what I've been up to. Also, next month we're going to be releasing an updated version of our website, the actual website. So there's going to be new headshots. I finally got everybody in our office has new headshots. Good bios. Hopefully, I'm going to make it to where if you work at X yard, you know who your steward is, who your business agent is, information to contact them.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
That's
Yeah.
good.
Cool.
That's good. That's good.
So, I mean, I guess let's move on to our next segment. We kind of figured out what you've been doing because a lot of people have questions out there. Some idiots out there too. They have questions, and
I don't just post videos
Yeah.
and photos on social media, guys. I do more than that.
So,
Bobby Knows Nothing had to be cut due to audio corruption. We apologize for the inconvenience. We hope you enjoy this segment in future episodes to come.
well,
Quite
Bobby,
incredible.
I think we will end Bobby Knows Nothing for now. But
I've learned some stuff
you'll
today, guys.
definitely be on for more Bobby Knows Nothing.
Yeah, definitely do some more Bobby Knows Nothing. It's a fun segment.
Let's make Bobby smarter.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Today was interesting. Myself and George and Bobby are very hot right now. It is.
It's warm.
Quite warm in here. But thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. Please
Wow.
like, share, subscribe. Sorry for the cough. Excuse me. Follow us on Instagram, OCST.952. Actually, it's OCST952. I don't know why I said dot.
You always put the dot in.
I know. It's
So-
not a dot. OCST952. Follow us on Instagram. Like, share, subscribe. YouTube. Check out all the videos, past videos. Bobby's first video. He's been on a couple times. We got all kinds of stuff on there. I will say, last thing, fuck Salas.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, fuck Sabas. Also, email us if you have any questions, ocst.000@gmail.com with all your questions, comments, concerns. I will be posting up, I don't know if it's going to be next week or if it's this week. There will be a Dropbox coming up where you can leave all of your stories, comments, concerns, all that stuff. So, I mean, look forward to
Share
that.
your stories. Let's go, guys.
If that's not on this episode as at the time of release, if I don't put it right here, then it will probably be on the next one. So just keep an eye out for that.
I got
Bobby?
a guy from CVS that we're gonna bring on for some story time.
I'm ready.
Oh, I love.
Thank you for coming on, Bobby. We appreciate
Thanks for having
you.
me, guys.
Thank
And
you,
we'll
thank
see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Bam.